Another week means another installment of the final quarter on CBS 8 Plus, and we get rolling right now.
The final quarter begins right now.
Karthik, welcome back. John, it's like you never left, baby. Here we go again. Fellas, they did it again. The Dodgers did it again, and this one stings oh so much. Roki Sasaki headed to Los Angeles. I don't even want to ask how we feel. What are your thoughts on it all, though?
Well, I'm just wondering, is there anybody the Dodgers didn't sign?
At this point, no.
They didn't sign me, John.
What
the heck?
I could use their money, too. I mean, if you got that much money you want to spend, I mean, send it some our way. The one thing I just want to say about this, I just think it's bad for baseball. I look at the NBA that tends to have super teams, a small number of teams that are just far better personnel-wise than others, and that's what the Dodgers have built here. I don't know really how any other team could be considered close to them, and I think it makes for a boring regular season. If the Dodgers take an early lead in the season standings, and the Padres or the Rockies or any other team in the National League West cannot challenge them, the deeper we go in the season, the less we're going to care about any regular season games. Wake us up when the postseason comes.
It truly is crazy. I mean, just what the Dodgers have been able to do, who they've been able to sign, how they've been able to reload after winning the World Series. I mean, if anything, we went to the postseason being like, all right, their pitching is probably the weakest part of them because injuries, depth, whatever it was. And then, they come out and absolutely reload this offseason, just spending ukus and bukus of money, if you will. I think this thing with Roki Sasaki is like this, man. When I first heard that the Dodgers were involved and that was a landing spot for him, I was like, they're going to get him.
Yep.
I mean, it just kind of it was just like, I know Padres fans wanted to hold out hope. And for the city of San Diego, I was like, that'd be pretty cool if he came. But always in my mind, I was just like, from the minute that I saw Dodgers, I was like, well, the Dodgers have gotten everybody else. Why wouldn't they get Roki too?
This one stung a lot, though, because as you mentioned, Karthik, a lot of Padre fans had faith that Roki was going to be that savior. One, he was the affordable pitcher the Padres had to have, right? He was going to be thrown right in the middle of that rotation. He wasn't going to cost them much at all, and people think he's going to dominate. And he was really Peter Seidler and A.J. Preller's guy. They've been working on trying to get him to the Padres for a long time. But another reason this one really stung, I know we joke all the time, deferred money, Dodgers got endless money. This had nothing to do with money. Roki Sasaki came over early. He's making the rookie's salary. He got a $6.5 million signing bonus. This had nothing to do with money, and still he went to the Los Angeles Dodgers. So this may get me tons of hate mail, but I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate. How do you say that word? Advocate here.
There you go. We got you.
Because if Roki Sasaki went to the Dodgers, is it because they've created this great culture? Is it because it was a safe landing spot for him and the pressure was going to be off of him? I mean, this one really didn't have to do with money at all, you two.
I don't know that there's culture there. I think there's deep paychecks there. And so you go there, you're going to be on an established team. There's defending World Series champions. They're going to compete for the World Series again. So you go there, they're eventually going to pay you a bunch of money once you're done with your initial few years. And coming to the Padres, who knows what kind of team the Padres end up being over the next 2, 3, 4 years. He knows that the Dodgers will be a World Series contender every single year that he's here, and I think that has a lot to do with it, along with the deep pockets that'll come down the road for him.
Yeah, I think, if you just look at the teams that were involved and who he was picking between the Padres, the Blue Jays, and the Dodgers is the surefire thing, right? And I don't know Roki Sasaki, but I imagine he's an athlete, so he wants to win. And, that is a sure win. They won the World Series, and they've absolutely reloaded. That seems like a great situation to just kind of walk into, and Jay, kind of like what you mentioned, maybe not have a lot of pressure. You can get developed, and then you can still be really good and, really have a spot in that rotation. The Padres would have been a good spot too, but, other than the pitching staff, they still have some questions. Left field, catcher, they're still trying to figure out some things as well. So when you have question marks there, you got question marks for the Blue Jays. The one team that doesn't really seem to have question marks going into next season is the Los Angeles Dodgers because of what they've been able to do with money and who they already have on the roster. If you're a competitor and you want to just walk into a perfect situation coming from overseas and you want to land in a good spot, I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I think the Dodgers are going to be a good fit. I know you hate to say it if you're in the city of San Diego, but that's the LA Dodgers.
It's 6 years of control for the LA Dodgers that they get Roki Sasaki for at that smaller salary. So I think it's a very safe landing spot for him. They can take their time with him. They got a million people that can pitch there, so they can really be patient with Roki Sasaki if he does need that transition period. I think he liked that. It was just frustrating because it really didn't go along with everything we heard about Roki Sasaki. Hey, I don't want to go to a big market. Hey, I want to be the star where I go. I want to paint my own path. Well, all those things are the exact opposite of where you decided to go in the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then the Dodgers get Tanner Scott. They signed Kirby Yates. They got Blake Snell earlier. It's been a frustrating offseason, no doubt, for the San Diego Padre fans. One last thing before we move on. People want to say it's bad for baseball. I think there's an argument to be had there, but also, is it bad that these other teams aren't even trying half the time? It's other teams could have gotten Roki Sasaki. Other teams could have spent money on Tanner Scott, but half these teams don't feel like they're trying. I think MLB needs a salary floor and a salary cap, but that will never happen. And I could see 2026 being an ugly year with the CBA coming up.
Yeah, I agree. 1,000%. I mean, I don't know what else to add to that other than I agree.
I can't disagree much more. Until you do something to get these teams more parity in their salary structures, I think it's just going to continue to get worse.
All right, well, let's move on because we're done talking about the LA Dodgers and the stacked roster and lineup that they now have. We got football to touch on. Championship weekend in the National Football League. We start with the Buffalo Bills in the Kansas City Chiefs. 1 versus 2, the game that we all thought we would probably get, and it's on CBS 8 this Sunday. You two, who's winning between the Bills and the Chiefs?
I so badly want to pick the Buffalo Bills, man, but every single time I've picked against the Kansas City Chiefs this year, they've shut me up pretty good. And not to mention the history. Is it mental in Buffalo's head that the Chiefs keep getting the best of them, especially when it comes to the playoffs? You know, the Bills beat the Chiefs earlier this year. That was at home. I want to say Bills, man. I really do. I really do, man. But it's really hard for me to be like, all right. Because, like, even then, like, okay, what do we know about the Kansas City Chiefs, man? When the moment comes down to it, they always find a way to win. Buffalo Bills were up on the Baltimore Ravens last week, 21-10 going into halftime. They almost blew that game. The Ravens really cost themselves that game. I don't really feel like the Buffalo Bills won it. I feel like the Baltimore Ravens lost it. Kansas City Chiefs aren't a team that go out and lose it in crunch time. They're a team that goes out and win it in crunch time. I expect this game to be close. I expect it to come down to the wire. And if that's the case, I have no reason to believe the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to win and be in the Super Bowl once again, going for that three-peat.
Yeah, and to support what Karthik is saying there, it's just a point or two difference that the odds makers are giving this game, the Chiefs being favored, and I think the Chiefs just continue to make plays that championship teams make to win the football game. I enjoy watching history being made. It'll be interesting to see if the Chiefs can win 3 straight Super Bowls. It has not been done before. I think I will find myself rooting for the Buffalo Bills when they play. I think the Bills are a team that maybe there's a little bit of destiny. A Mark Andrews dropped pass like Karthik referred to. Maybe the Ravens could have or should have won that game. But I think the Chiefs know what to do to win football games. And the other thing I'll mention, I am starting to become a believer that the officials, subconsciously or not, favor the Chiefs with their calls. The roughing the passer call last week was awful, and so was the, what was the call when the 2 Texan players collided over Mahomes? That was flagged as personal foul, and they hardly touched Mahomes. So I don't trust the officials subconsciously when they're officiating Kansas City games.
I think it's hard to kind of, referee Patrick Mahomes, because Troy Aikman brought up a great point
Yeah,
during the
he's
broadcast.
flopping all over the place.
He flops a lot. He baits a lot of players into hitting him. And like you saw earlier in the year when there were times where Mahomes would pretend like he was going out of bounds, and as a defender you got to let him go. Then he just shoots up the sideline, and that half a second is enough. With his acceleration burst, he's going and scoring a touchdown or turning a big play out of it. He's good at manipulating the rule of you can't really hit him, and then turning it into something that can gain him extra yards. Yep. He doesn't need to. He's the best quarterback in the NFL, at least he has been in recent years. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say, at this point, the rules and how they should be judged in the future, but I do think it makes it extremely difficult when there is some sort of manipulation of the rule.
He's not the best quarterback in the NFL this year. He's not. Lamar
No,
Jackson and
you're
Josh
right.
Allen
Sure.
were. And the Kansas City Chiefs are not winning this game. I'm telling you
Oh.
right now, it's over in Kansas
You sound like
City.
me a couple weeks ago. Get ready to be wrong.
We've doubted them before, and they've gone on to win Super Bowls. We doubted them again. They've gone on to win Super Bowls. This year, I doubt them for a third time. And this year, mark my words, I will be right. The Buffalo Bills go into Arrowhead, and they finally beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They return to the Super Bowl, and I think they win the Super Bowl. I think it is Buffalo's year to finally do it, and they start by getting over that hump. They are beating the Kansas City Chiefs. What do you think about that?
I'll tell you what I think about that. Just because you said it, I'll say the exact opposite so that this video is worth watching next
You
weekend.
already did say the opposite. Let's find out who the winner of the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs will play. That would be the NFC Championship game. The Washington Commanders taking on the Philadelphia Eagles at the Link in Philly. Folks, not a person on the planet thought the Washington Commanders would be playing in the NFC Championship game. All the credit really goes to multiple people, but the way Jaden Daniels has played, the way Cliff Kingsbury has called that offense, and the new ownership in Washington, they have pressed every right button, and now the Commanders have a chance, you hearing this right out of my mouth, to play in a Super Bowl if they can get past the Eagles. Your thoughts on this game?
Amazing that they would go that far this early in the current structure of the team. Jaden Daniels, I had him on my fantasy team this year. Unfortunately, what I don't like is when the Commanders score 45 points and Daniels only has 2 touchdowns. Come on. What happened to all the other touchdowns? But that's what happens when the defense scores. The Eagles, a 4.5-point favorite in this game, and I'm telling you, if the Commanders allow Saquon Barkley to gain 205 yards rushing, they'll have a tough time winning this football game. But keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, there's only 2 playoff wins on the road this year, both from the Washington Commanders. Can they make it a trifecta? I think the odds are stacked against them, but perhaps they're a team of destiny. Karthik, what do you think?
I want the Commanders to win this game so badly, man. That would be so cool. A rookie quarterback making it to the Super Bowl, absolutely just stirring up the storylines in the NFL, because this guy, he wins the Heisman at LSU, comes into the NFL. He's just looked so darn good, and what he's been able to lead this team to, I would love to see it. I don't know if we will see it. The last time these two teams played, Jalen Hurts didn't play most of the game. He got hurt. The Commanders were able to come back from behind and win. There's a lot of turnovers in that game. I think the Eagles at home in a playoff scenario is going to end up being ultimately too much. That defense is, more oftentimes than not, really, 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 really good. I think that's ultimately going to be the deciding factor. I so badly want to see the Commanders, especially, recent history and all the drama they've gone with their franchise, the name, the Washington football team.
Their
now
horrible
the Commanders,
owner.
they finally are now at a point where it's just like, okay, they can move on into their future. And what a future they have with this stud at quarterback in Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, you had a clown running the circus there in Washington for a long, long time. They brought in great ownership. They immediately bring in Jaden Daniels. He balls out. I love what Cliff has done this year. It's exciting for the Commanders. I've already sold my soul to the Buffalo Bills making the Super Bowl. I'm doubling down. Give me Washington. I want a Buffalo-Washington Super Bowl, and I think that would be the greatest possible thing for football fans. In all likelihood, we end up with a Philadelphia-Kansas City Super Bowl again. But no, I'm committed to the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders.
I could see Bills Commanders being such a high-scoring game, too. That could be
It would
like
be
really fun shootout kind of game.
It would be a lot of fun, and I honestly think the Eagles are a vulnerable team. Like, they didn't play great against the Green Bay Packers. The Rams were a good team, but that game was up in the air for a lot of the time. I think the Commanders can beat the Eagles, and I think they do. So, yes, let's go Bills. Let's go Commanders. Speaking of football, let's go down to the college ranks, where just on Monday we had a new national champion. Congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes. All 8 of you out there that love the Buckeyes, while the rest of us did not want this to happen. But all jokes aside, the Buckeyes win the first 12-team playoff in college football. I think most people thought the Buckeyes would win it. That game was a blowout for a long time, 31-7 at one point, and then Notre Dame made it pretty interesting. Got ourselves a pretty good football game out of it, and our first experience at the 12-team playoff.
Let me clear my throat. I predicted the first round right. I predicted the quarterfinals right. I predicted the semifinals right. And yes, King me, I predicted the national championship right. Perfection is mine.
We need proof.
Yeah, where's the...
I need some proof.
Show us the tape. Show
Don't
us the
work
tape.
here. Go to CBS8. Go to CBS8
He says-
Plus. All my
He said you got to
predictions
check
are there.
CBS, you got to check CBS 8 Plus, you got to check my Twitter, you got to check my Instagram.
Check my text.
And then we're texting in our group text, and I go, Karthik, let's get some proof. He goes, I don't have time to
I
find
was like,
it.
I
said,
don't need it. I just needed that moment right there to just say my piece on what happened, and that's what it is. But, you know, Ohio State has just, what a tear they've been on after losing to Michigan in that, you know, final game of the regular season, having lost 4 straight to Michigan. I think it says a lot about their program to have lost that game, to put all the pressure that they had on them coming into the postseason as the 8th seed, and they shut everybody up. They absolutely blew Tennessee out of the water. They absolutely blew Oregon out of the water. Then they get to the semifinal game with the team that probably matches best with them from a physical standpoint in all of college football in Texas, get that one done as well. And then in the national championship game, for the most part, until towards the end with Notre Dame doing what they've been doing well for some time now in the playoffs, is coming back from behind. Ohio State looked like they were just going to trash Notre Dame for a long time in that game. I think it says a lot about a program when you put the weight on the world on their shoulder, when you say this coach is on the brink of getting fired and they go out and win the national championship. That's good stuff right there, man. Ohio State, you know, they're such a big program. We think of them as this, you know, national program, but in some ways you could maybe call them the underdog in a lot of ways because of how many people doubted them coming into the playoffs. I think you could say that because so many people doubted them, put them on the brink of elimination, and they shut everybody up and won it all, man.
Did you go to school at the Ohio State?
Yeah, no,
I did not. I did
Oh,
not.
nobody expected
Playing
anything out
the
of us.
underdog role.
We're only the #1 seed going in.
They were the 8th seed.
Only because they lost to Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was the Michigan factor. I think losing to Michigan had a lot to do with lighting a fire into their rear ends to get things going in the college football playoff. If I can look more big picture, I enjoyed the 12-team playoff this year. I think it's far better than 4 teams. 8 teams probably would have been plenty. I think what the NCAA needs to do is shift everything forward a little bit. The national championship game came so late in January, and after the divisional round of the NFL games, when that game was played Monday night between Ohio State and Notre Dame, it seemed rather anticlimactic after the divisional round of NFL games Saturday and Sunday. Shift everything back by a week to 10 days. I mean, for Pete's sake, Notre Dame and Ohio State had 3 full weeks, 20 days and 21 days respectively, to prepare for their first round games in the college football playoff. So shift things forward, and this is going to be pretty drastic. Even if you lost 1 regular season game, that would be able to shift things forward and maybe make New Year's weekend the college football semifinals with the championship game played 7, 8, 9 days after that.
Yeah, were there some things they need to fix in the college football playoff? Absolutely. But was it awesome and was it what we've all been asking for? Absolutely. There is not a team in the country that can go, if only, you know, we really missed our shot. Oh, if we had a chance. No.
Right.
Did exactly what fans have called for the longest time, which is give every team a fair shot. We got that. The best team in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes, contrary to Karthik's belief, won the national championship.
They're the best team on roster and on paper.
Yet
but
they're
they were
underdogs.
not. Yeah, because they lost to Michigan. Nobody was counting on them. Everyone was doubting them and calling for Ryan Day's job.
Yeah.
So they were the favorites when your head coach is supposed to get fired?
You mentioned, Karthik, that they shut a lot of people up. My favorite people that they shut up were their own fans calling for Ryan Day's job, which was just the most ridiculous thing ever. I get that's a heated rivalry. I get you don't lose to Michigan if you coach at Ohio State, but the dude is an unbelievable coach. He went and won you a national championship. Shut up, okay? Shut up.
Yeah.
And yes, again, to finally wrap this up, I think the college football playoff gave us exactly what we wanted. There's some things to clean up. Like you said, it took too long. Maybe got to move it around, but I'm excited for the future of what it brings. Any final thoughts on the college football playoff?
I do want to say, to John's point, if you want to move this thing up, get rid of conference championship games. I just don't really care for them anymore. ACC is already considering making shifts to theirs. You know, and I don't really feel like the committee really takes, other than the automatic bids that they're now giving out, which is probably going to go away next season. Not automatic bids, but where you get slated as like your seeding goes. I think if you want to kind of expedite this process, make the season a little shorter, I'm fine with getting rid of the conference championships games.
Yeah,
I really am.
I think that's a great way to back up the playoffs by a week, is get rid of those conference championship games, because Penn State, they played on December 7th because they were playing in a conference championship game. So that would shift things back and bring the timeline down more to make really December college football's playoff month and January the NFL's playoff month.
And give Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame their flowers. They had a great season that I don't think a lot of people expected, especially you want to talk about, they lose to NIU, and then all of a sudden they bounce back. They have a great season, and they really made that a game. I think most of us thought when it was 31-7, hey, pack it up. Notre Dame got blown out again. They played really well.
Yep.
We're within one score in the fourth quarter of that game, so congrats to both of those teams. The Aztecs in it next year, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All they got to do is get past Boise State.
All they got to do is get past New Mexico.
And the other 9 teams that they lost to or whatever it was.
And they need a quarter. They need a lot of work. Let's wrap up. It is Farmers Insurance Open Week. Real quickly, let's touch on it, the Wednesday to Saturday here. The first thing that jumped out to me, without being rude or just
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a light field. Let's be honest. It's a light field, right? Like the Tiger Woods, the Phil Mickelsons, the John Rahms, all these big names that we are used to playing here in San Diego aren't in the field this year.
Xander Schauffele's not in it either.
No Xander Schauffele, no Colin Morikawa, Will Zalatoris. So it is a lighter field, which makes it interesting. Do you guys lose interest because of the field? I mean, I'm curious to know your thoughts on the Farmers this year.
Well, I think if you look at the early leaderboard, when we're only halfway through the first round as we're taping this, the leaderboard is not a who's who of golf, it's a who's that of golf. I mean, Ludwig Aberg playing very well on the North Course to start things off, and he's a bright young talent, and I think good golf fans have heard of him. I think household people probably have not, to your point, Jake. I will enjoy going out there no matter what, even though we don't have 25 of the top 26 golfers in the world. We still have some of the best golfers in the world out there competing. And if it's a sunny day at Torrey Pines, and I was out there yesterday, Jake, I know you were out there today, it is a beautiful thing and a beautiful way to spend a day to go out there and walk the course and watch these guys play.
Of course, the appeal is not going to be as good when you don't have names like Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson performing in the event. I mean, it just is what it is, right? Like, obviously, Tiger Woods is the biggest draw in golf of all time. He's the reason why golf became as popular as it was. I mean, for some of those reasons, the appeal, maybe goes down. But to John's point, so many great golfers that are playing in this thing, and some guys that are up and rising too. That could be a name in the future. I think definitely golf fans will enjoy this weekend of golf. Obviously, it's such a tough course to play on. It should be a fun event throughout the week.
Yeah, and I think one thing we need to give the Farmers credit for is they seem to always be ahead of the curve in the sense of the person that does go on to win it, right? Like, they're great at getting that new name out there. Ludwig Aberg led a little bit last year, and then the first Frenchman to ever win on the PGA Tour, Mathieu Pavon won. John Rahm's first win ever was at Torrey Pines. So they're great. Yeah, we would all love the big names, but this tournament is great in getting that next name to become the big name. So looking forward to having that out here this week. And next week, we will be back right here on the final quarter on CBS 8+. John Howard, Karthik Venkatraman, and myself to talk about all the great sporting topics that we have headed forward. So thank you two very much. And as I like to say goodbye to the people.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Let's go, Sahib Tagalog, win the Farmers Insurance Open, baby!
You're going to count that as a prediction.
Check him. Check his back. Go back and find